everyone. Welcome to episode 31 of the Pip and Pin Podcast. I'm Megan Nodecker, and I'm a knitwear designer from Abbotsford, British Columbia, Canada. You can find me on Instagram as Pip and Pin and on Ravelry as Knit Pip and Pin. Feel free to like and subscribe this video if you haven't already. And welcome. I have lots to share with you today. It's been a really long time between podcasts. Usually I try to do every 2 weeks or so. I don't remember the last time I did one. Maybe January sometime. It's been a while. And that's because it snowed here. It snowed here lots. As I said, we live in BC. I live in like the south coast of BC, and we don't usually get a ton of snow. And this year we did, and it was over quite a long period of time too. So we were kind of just in the house. Justin was home from work for 2 weeks, which was nice, but kind of interfered with regular life. I couldn't really podcast while him and Georgia was off school too for most of it. So I couldn't really podcast with both of them here because I'm just sitting in my living room and they would be so distracting. I guess I could have told them to like go for a walk or something, but I didn't. So Justin was off work for a couple weeks. Georgia was off school, and the whole rhythm of everything just kind of goes out the window when that happens. No podcast. Lots of knitting though. And I finished 100 things. Not 100, but it feels like 100. First I'm going to talk about what I'm wearing. And today I am wearing my Birds and Ships cowl. It's designed by Caitlin Hunter of Woodland Knitworks. And it is knit in Cedar House yarns, Irish Yearling DK in the Noble colorway. So it's this beautiful, like, rich green with tweedy bits in it. And I got this from Fibershare last fall, and I just cast this on right away. This is this is my most worn accessory this winter. Like by far. I wore my other shawls a couple times, but this is just so easy to like, because it's all one piece. It's like a cowl. So it just goes on and then it's done. And I don't know if you can, no, you can't see it, but there is a tassel at the bottom too, which is always fun. And the pattern is originally written for fingering weight yarn, but I didn't want to do it in fingering weight yarn. I wanted to use this yarn. So if you have any questions about how I did that, that's all on my Ravelry project page. So you can go find out the information there. Really easy pattern to alter. The way that it's constructed, it was very easy to make the switch from fingering to DK, and I didn't even have to swatch, so that was nice too. A couple of things before I get into my finished objects. There's a couple events coming up this weekend, and I should have put this podcast out earlier, but Monday was chaos. So today it is. Hopefully I'll be able to get everything edited and uploaded in time for you to actually see it. But if you follow me on Instagram, you probably already know I'm doing 2 events this weekend at Wet Coast Wools in Vancouver. So on Friday, March the 1st, there's going to be a wine and cheese trunk show. So you buy a ticket and you get a glass of wine or a beer or whatever they have there, some snacks. All my samplers are going to be there. I'm going to be there. So you can come and hang out and knit and chat and try things on. I'll have my books there and I'll have patterns there. So if you want to get your hands on some stuff, because I don't know, I feel like feeling knits and being able to try them on and everything is a really big part of it. So if you're like me and want to physically see it, buy your ticket for that. I think it's $7.50, and that includes your drink. And that's on Friday night at 7. And then on Saturday, March 2nd, from 1 to 4, I'm going to be doing a workshop. And this is the first workshop that I'm going to be doing, and I'm super excited about it. What the workshop is about is our book strand. And basically I'm going to be teaching how to put different yarns together to create those big chunky looks that you see in the book strand. And so I'm going to have yarn to play with and needles to play with. I have lots of different examples of like how you can do different things and what yarns to use and all sorts of fun stuff. So it's going to be very hands-on as well. So you're encouraged to bring your yarns and your needles and figure out how to make your own fabrics. It's a really neat technique. And it's something that Katie and I have done for years. That's actually how we started as Pip and Pin, is we got our grandma's yarn, and when she couldn't knit anymore, she gave it to us, and then we would just take all the different things and put them together and make cowls and scarves and things and sell them at markets. And that's how we became Pip and Pin, and of course we've evolved since then. But I'm going to be teaching that technique on Saturday, so from 1 to 4. And you can get tickets for both of those at wetcoastwools.com. I'll make sure I put a link down in the description box below. And I did double check, and there still are some tickets left. There's not a ton. So if you're kind of on the fence about it, I would go and check it out, because I don't know, they might not still be there. Hopefully they are. And I really hope that you can come out and join us and the ladies at the shop and me, and have a fun evening and a fun afternoon of learning something new. So let's talk about the things that I finished, because there's a lot of them. There was a lot of knitting time, there were days and days of knitting time. And I feel like I had a lot of things kind of on the go. I had some design work on the go. I had some personal stuff on the go. And like, I don't know, I used to be very, very monogamous with my knitting. I would have 1, maybe 2, and a pair of socks on the go at one time. And that was kind of it. If I ever had anything more than that, I would get a little bit overwhelmed. And like I've found in the past year especially, that's not really the case anymore. I don't get anxious about whips that I haven't worked on in a while, because I know they will eventually get finished. Like I don't have whips that are years old. I have whips that are, they've maybe been on hiatus for a couple months. Which I still have one of those, but I had a lot of things kind of on the go, and it was really, really nice to be able to just bomb through some of them and get them off the needles. And right now, as of this minute, I have 2 things on the needles. Only one that I'm actually working on. I only have 1 whip to show you. I guess technically 3, but one of them is my northeasterly blanket, which is a scrabby project, and I don't count those. I don't count blankets as a whip, because that's just something that will go on for a really long time. So I don't count that. But I have 2 things, only one that I've been working on. So everything else is finished. Let's get into it. The first one, and the one that I'm most excited to be done, is this guy right here. Let me do up the buttons. And it's half the body has been blocked, but this sweater has not been blocked, and I'll explain why in a minute. But this is Field Henley by Lindsay, Inouye, and it's knit in Briggs & Little Sport in dark gray, and then the lighter is light gray. Imagine that. This pattern is a really great pattern. It's actually, I did make lots of modifications to it, because the pattern is written to be knit in pieces and seamed. I didn't do that. It is also knit to be more of a feminine shape. So kind of, it has a waist and a thing. And that's just not how Justin is shaped. He has really broad shoulders and not much of a waist. So he's very much, you know, cuts quite a masculine figure. And so I had to alter for the body and I had to alter for the sleeve lengths. And what I did is I knit it. It's knit bottom up, or it's written to be bottom up in pieces and then seamed. What I did is I knit it bottom up and then I did it in the round, which may have been a mistake. not that knitting it, not that the finished project is altered at all because it was knit in the round, but man, working that body killed me. Like it was really hard. It was hard on my hands because the yarn wanted to curl up over the cable needle, and so I had to block it every couple inches, and it was really tough. It was really hard on my hands. But as soon as I finished the body, like as soon as I got out of that spiral, it was fun and it didn't hurt my hands anymore. So that was really nice that I was able to, you know, as soon as I got over that hump, it was just like, okay, now we can really start working on this. And it was finished in probably a week, sleeves and everything, after I finally got that part done. So yeah, after I split the body, I worked the back and the front separately and kind of just made up where this part went. Because I think in her version, it comes quite a bit lower than the armholes. But I had to do some figuring to make the armholes deep enough for him. When I did that, I kind of half planned on, because this is the way that I do my shoulders, is I do short rows and then do a 3 needle bind off. And I just find that that's kind of how I've always done it. And it's very easy for me to do that. With this pattern, it did get you to cast off kind of in steps for the shoulder shaping and then seam it at the end. So I did that, and I mean, it doesn't look bad. It doesn't look bad at all, but it just went to reiterate that I don't like seaming. If it was, you know, a straight up and down or something, or like a maybe, but I don't find it enjoyable and I don't like how it looks. So I think I'm just a in the round kind of one piece, no seaming kind of knitter, and that's okay. So once I figured that out, I realized that, because my original plan was gonna be to knit the sleeves flat and then seam them in and do the underarm seam. As soon as I did this little shoulder seam, I was like, no, I don't want to do that. So there is a tutorial for set-in sleeves by Andy Satterland, and I bought it a long time ago, and I've never actually put it into practice before. I think I tried it once, but I was still quite a new knitter and messed something up somewhere. So it didn't quite work the way it was supposed to, but that was my fault because I used it this time and it worked beautifully. Basically you pick up stitches around the armhole and then do some magic and to make the sleeve cap, and then you can work your sleeves in the round, top down, in one piece. Yeah, so that's what I did. And it turned out really great. So I was very happy with that decision. I think the edges, like, I have no problem picking up stitches. I quite like picking up stitches. I know some people would, I don't know, it's just one of those things. You either pick up stitches or you like seaming, or don't like doing either, or love doing it, both, I don't know. But my personal preference, if at all possible, would be to pick up stitches rather than seam. So that was the other alteration that I did. So really, I just used the basis of the pattern, a lot of the numbers, and by the end of it, I was kind of just getting Justin to try it on to see like what I needed to do next. He got really, he got kind of annoyed at that, but whatever. Like, this is your sweater, and if you want it, and if you want it to fit, you're gonna have to try it on for me. And then we went digging for buttons. I have a couple button jars, so we poured them all into big bowls and went hunting. And we decided on these guys. And these are little, they're actually made of bone. So that was kind of cool. I think there's some, my mom always gets me buttons. Like if she finds neat old buttons, she'll get them for me. So that's kind of I think where these ones came from. Yeah, but just little bone buttons. And he has not taken it off. He is probably the most knit-worthy person. Him and Georgia are probably the most knit-worthy people that I have in my life. Like, he loves this. And I made it how he wanted it to be made. Like, he said, this is the sweater that I want, and this is the color, and and I was like, cool, I can do that. And he literally, as soon as it was finished, as soon as that last button was sewn on, he put it on. He didn't take it off for a week. The only reason I'm allowed to show it to you right now is because he's at work and not wearing it. But I can pretty much guarantee that as soon as he gets home from work and changes out of his work clothes, he's gonna be putting that sweater back on. So all that hardship with the body was totally worth it, because every day I get this is the best sweater you've ever made, and thank you so much. And how can you be mad at that? Like, if anytime he wants a sweater, I told him he can have one. If he thinks of something that he wants and that he'll wear, I'll make it for him. Like, 100%. Georgia too. She always, anytime I make her something, she loves it and she wants to wear it all the time, every day. And she gets asked sometimes, oh, did your grandma make that for you? And she said, no, my mummy did. Thanks, kid. Yeah, I'm very happy. I'm happy with the pattern. I really love the yarn. It's not a soft yarn. It is a working yarn, which is exactly what he wanted. He wants, something to do things in. So he was worried about it at first, because it is quite scratchy. Like when you knit it, there's a lot of oils in it. There's plants that can be found in it. And so he was a little bit worried, but then after I blocked the body, and after I started blocking the body because I was having issues with it, he was like, oh, like it softens up. Well, it doesn't soften up. It blooms and it becomes something else. So I really enjoy the finished product of the yarn. And it's really inexpensive. If you've ever looked at Briggs & Little, I think it's like, that sweater took under 4 skeins. So I had 4 skeins, and I think it's like under $10 a skein. I think it was like $8 or something plus shipping, but that's crazy. So like a $30, $40 sweater. You can't really go wrong. It's pretty much the exact same as a wool in Stansfield that costs $100 at Mark's. So I'm gonna stop talking about that sweater now because I have more things to show you and talk about. This next one I don't actually have to show you, but I will put a picture of it. I did a sample, I did a new design and knit the sample for a shawl that is going to be in Inouye, their holiday issue next year. And it is a big, giant, squishy triangle shawl with some texture and some stripes and some tassels. And I knit it using Haiku Kensington. And if you watched the last episode, I did have some things to say about it. But today's episode is all about the switch around, because after knitting it, like I had some issues winding it and there being some breaks, and that was kind of annoying. But as I was knitting with it, I realized it was really only 1 skein that was an issue with, and maybe 2. And I thought it was also too like soft, not too soft, but like too weak. And I thought I would have issues with that. And as I was knitting the scarf even, I was just like, Not that I didn't not like it, but it just like wasn't something that I was super excited about. And then I finished it. And then I blocked it. And it's 80 inches wide and 40 inches long and has tassels, and the yarn just became magic after it blocked, and like it's this big cozy thing, and it's amazing. I should have gone. I haven't actually sent it away yet. I'm gonna go do that before I pick George up from school. So I should have grabbed it to actually show you the thing, but I did share a picture of it on Instagram, and I'll make sure that I post a picture here too. But it's amazing how that happens sometimes. How it's just like, you know, something you're not really excited about, you know, this happened with Justin's sweater too. Something you're not really excited about knitting or making, or the yarn's doing weird things, or your needles are doing weird things, or it's just, you know, kind of boring to knit. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, this is why I did it. You know? So I'm very excited. I'm very sad that I had to send that away because I couldn't wear it either, and it was super, super cold here. So all I wanted to do was wrap up in this giant squishy shawl, and I couldn't. We'll be able to get that pattern. I think the holiday one usually comes out like late fall, so like October sometime in October. Holiday, interweave holiday 2019. I don't know what it's going to be called yet, but that's where it's going to be. The next thing, the third thing, number 3 that I finished is in my little box of socks. These are my Durango socks by Sarah Jordan. And these are knit with the Knit Pick Stroll in their Firecracker Heather colorway, which is this beautiful, beautiful, deep, deep kind of heathery red. They're showing up so nicely. And I'm very excited about these. If you've never worked with Stroll before, like I've been working with a lot of kind of indie dyed yarns when I do socks, and they're soft, but like Stroll just has this feeling to it, and it's really nice. This is my 4th pair of socks to go into my my little box there, and they're my February socks for the Grocery Girls Sock Bash, which is like a sock knit along. They have a prompt every month, and this month was cables. So I've never knit a pair of cable socks before, so that was fun. I thought it would take a lot more time. Like these are just little 1x1 twisted stitches cables, and I thought it would be finicky, and I thought that I wouldn't like it, but it was actually really, really nice and interesting to knit. And I think 2 of the days of our snow days I finished a sock. So yeah, what else do I want to say about them? I don't know. I'm really excited. I'm really excited to be able to wear these next year. Okay, phone number 4 is my favorite. Let's save the best for last. This is the sweater. There's no design because I made it up. And this is made with Madeline Tosh Merino Light, which is a single ply fingering weight yarn, in the colorway Grace Notes, which is this lovely like light tonal gray with speckles of bright orange and yellow and dark purple and magenta and blue. And I feel like I'm gonna wear this a lot. Pop it on. Pop it on for you. I have been wearing it a lot. But I feel, especially for spring, I think it'll be really nice. Let me stand up a little bit. Yeah, so this is open front cardigan, raglan sleeves, really, really loose fitting sleeves as well, and loose in the body. This is a honeycomb brioche stitch. And I had asked for some opinions about the edging on the last episode of the podcast. And I think the consensus was kind of ribbed and thick. But I decided to do ribbed and thin, and I think that was the right decision. I remember I was at this point, like I had done an inch of the ribbing and Justin was in bed already, and I just didn't know whether I should stop or whether I should keep going, because my original thought was to do like quite a thick band, so it would kind of like bunch up at the neck and things. So, but I just had a feeling that maybe it was time to stop after just this much. So I went in there and I was like, "Hey, what are your thoughts?" And he said, like, "Just stop it now." And then and he's like, "You already know the answer. Like, you already know. Why do you always come and ask me?" And it's just like, well, I need to know. What did I say? I said I needed to know whether I was making the right decision or whether I was making the lazy decision. And he said, no, you're making the right decision. So I stopped it at just the thin one, and I think that was the right decision, because it just lays so nicely. I feel. I also had debated. This was a project that I started, and I just kind of started it. I didn't start it with the intention of it being a design, because I didn't want it to have that kind of pressure. I just wanted it to make something for myself that I liked. And I didn't want it to have to be a job. But now that it's finished, like I did keep notes, I did keep track of everything that I did. And it is going to be a pattern now. So I heard lots of people really like it, and I really like it, and I want to share it, because that's what's fun about being a knitwear designer for me, is sharing what I'm making and seeing what other people do with it. So it will be a pattern. I've already transcribed my chicken scratch notes for my size, so I have to do the grading for it still, which will take a little time. And then my friend Carmen, who is Owl and Lily on Instagram, she's actually going to be doing the photography. So sometime in the next couple weeks, we're going to be going somewhere and taking some photos of it, which is going to be strange because this is the first time like Katie's in Hawaii. So this is the first time that we'll be doing a shoot without each other. You know what I mean? So usually it's her taking the photos or me taking photos of her. So it's very easy. Like, she's my sister, and we're very comfortable around each other. I am super awkward in front of a camera when other people are taking pictures. So hopefully it'll be all right. I am sure it'll be fine. Carmen's lovely. But it's gonna be different. It's gonna be weird. But I am very excited. So hopefully sometime I will be looking for test knitters probably in the next couple weeks as well. So if you want to be notified when the test is happening, go over to our Ravelry group, which is Pip and Pin, and there's a thread sticky to the very top, and you can just put your name in there and say that you would like to be notified for future tests, and I'll let you know when the test is going to happen. And then hopefully the pattern will be sometime soon. It seems like a very spring kind of summer light cardigan thing. So hopefully very soon. And those are my finished things. That's everything that I finished. 4 big things. Like I said, I only have two. I don't count stash blankets. I only have 2 things on the needles. One of them I haven't worked on, and I haven't worked on in months, and it's my Lilium tee that I was supposed to be doing for the knit along I hosted last year. Didn't go. I think now that it's springtime, I'll be wanting to work on it a little more now that it's springtime. Now that we had a sunny day. It's not sunny right now, but the past 2 days have been really sunny. It's made me very happy. And sunshine came into my living room. Okay, I live in a dungeon. The windows face the wrong way. Like, this window and this window are the only 2 windows in our living room. And there's some French doors there that lead out onto the patio. But these are the only windows in our living room. And the sun rises over there and sets over there. So in the wintertime, when it's really low, because we live in the north, it doesn't actually reach to our window. It kind of reaches to our bedroom window. But the other day, 2 days ago, was the first time that the little sliver actually came through, like, into the living room. I was so excited. I was like, Georgia! I was yelling at Georgia to come and see the sunshine, and Justin thought I was like a mental case. But I was really, really excited about it. We've been planning to move. We've been wanting to move for 5 years, basically. And the one thing, like, Justin has his one thing, and my one thing is it needs to be sunny. I get very sad in the wintertime when there's no sunshine. And especially here, like, we don't have a yard. There's, like, our patio is not very nice. And it's just, like, not, I don't know. We don't live in a nice neighborhood either, so it's not like it's not great to, like, just go outside. So, I don't know. Sunshine. That's what I need in my life at all times. I live in the worst place for that. Actually, no. I don't think I could handle sunshine all the time, but I get really sad when it doesn't happen. What was I even talking about? Works in progress? Is that where I am? Yeah. Okay, so the thing that I've been working on is living in my Stitch Mischief project bag. What is on there? That as soon as a project goes out of it, another one goes into it. I love it so much. I picked it up at Knit City last year. And it's never been without a project since. There's little, like, pockets on the inside. It's brilliant. It's called the Finch Bucket Bag, and she also sells the patterns for it. I don't think she sells it on what used to be Craftsy anymore. So I think it's just Etsy. But if you find her on Instagram as Stitch Mischief, you'll be able to find, if you sew, you can also buy the pattern for this bag and sew one. And I think one of these days, some girlfriends and I are gonna make a trip to Dress Sew in Vancouver to pick up some fabric so that we can make our own Finch bucket bags, because they're great. Living in this bag is this guy. And this may look a little bit familiar. Let's see. Kind of. It's a new design that I'm working on, and it is the companion to the pink crop top that I showed before. This is actually going to be, this one's for Katie, so it's a little bit, like, I think I can still fit it, but it's a little bit smaller than if I was to make it for myself. Anyways, rambling again. But it's a new design, and it is actually going to be like a tunic length dress. So this is what I've been really, really powering on in the past week or two. And it just is growing so nicely. And the yarn, this is Midnight Cravings Sweet Sock in their smoked paprika colorway, and it is phenomenal. Like, it goes with all of the other colors that we have in our palette so nicely. We had a really hard time with this dress. Originally, the idea, because it's going to be a collection, it's going to come out this fall, and maybe the end of summer, I don't know, whenever we get done. It's going to be a collection of a couple patterns kind of on the same theme. And so the color palette that we had was going to be like pinks and copper kind of, and like burnt oranges and dark green, like really dark green. And I think our problem is we had a very, very specific color in mind for the green, because neither of us are really like green people. but there is, if you look at Marshland by Sweet Fiber, that is the green that we wanted. We couldn't find it. We couldn't find it anywhere. And I contacted lots of people, but then we just decided like it just can't be that color, because if it was anything else, we would have been disappointed by it. Anyways, whatever. So we decided to just go totally different. And so we decided on this beautiful, beautiful red. And it's almost like, see how it shows up here. Yeah, that's showing up pretty true. It's almost like there's pink undertones in it, and it's just stunning. That's the word, stunning. Just beautiful. I'm really, really excited to have this pattern done. Probably testing for those will start soon too. So again, you can go to the testing thread and sign up to be notified if you haven't done that already. It's going really, really fast. And that's because I don't have 6 other things that are trying to take my attention. It's just like, oh, I want to knit, or oh, I have an hour to knit. This is what I'm knitting on. And it's going really fast. And now I have yarn coming for new things. So I want to get this done even faster so that I can start the new things. Yeah. And I should finish up that Lilium, because I do want to wear it in the spring and the summer. Because Lilium is that cute little, you know what, it's right here. I'm just going to show you. Not this beautiful project bag. Anyways, this is, oh, it's super crumply. Oh yeah, I have not worked on this in a long time. But this is what it looks like. It's the one with the lace V neck, kind of. And then it has little cap sleeves and kind of an A-line body. So I do want to finish this because I want to wear it. So that will probably be the next thing that I work on once this is done. I was kind of thinking along those lines. I was almost thinking that I wanted to do another knit along, even though I said I wasn't going to do any more knit alongs for a while. But I feel like I have a lot of like spring, summer patterns, and I really love knitting for spring and summer. Fingering white yarn is my absolute favorite. And although I like thicker knit things too in the winter and things like, I don't know, just layers. BC is all about layers. And I really like having the light layers. So I was thinking maybe of doing some sort of like spring knit along with springy summer patterns like t-shirts or light cardigans or just like non-winter knits basically. But I don't know. Let me know what you think about that. Are you into knit alongs? I don't know. I like doing knit alongs. I like being part of them. I like doing them. I like hosting them. But it's a lot of work and sometimes I forget about them, so I feel bad. That's kind of it for knitting. I had one other thing that I kind of wanted to talk about before I have to go pick Georgia up, and that is clothing. And because yesterday, well, the past couple weeks, I've noticed that my wardrobe has been lacking some things, and just some like, you know, like my t-shirts that I wear all the time are starting to get little holes in them from the dryer and stuff, or getting stretched out, or I don't know, just things aren't fitting the way that they should be fitting anymore. And just because they're old, like everything in my closet is getting old, basically. So I decided that I wanted to go and buy some new tops and possibly some new jeans. Jeans didn't happen, and I was thinking like where to go, and I don't know, just recently I've been thinking about how like wasteful places are, you know, that have 6 seasons in a year and I don't know, just like fast fashion places I've been very sad about. And I've been thinking a lot about it lately and how I don't want to keep contributing to that as much as possible because I just don't think it's right. I think it's kind of ruining lots of things. So I went to the thrift store, and usually I have problems in the thrift store only because the ones in Abbotsford are not great. I don't know what happened, but they all used to be really good. And then there's one in particular that overcharges like crazy. Like Value Village is one thing, but this one is it's like a volunteer run thrift store. It's huge and everything is overpriced, like by a lot, like really overpriced. Like some things you go in there and they're more expensive than if you were to go and buy them new. Like an H&M top they want $10 for, but it costs $5 to go and buy a new H&M top. You know what I mean? So I've stopped going to that one completely. And there is still one really good one. And like kind of all the other ones in Abbotsford have started to follow suit, which I don't really get. Like, I don't know, it makes me really, every time I would go into those ones, I would just get mad because it's like you're getting this stuff for free. All the money is going to charity. And thrift stores are supposed to be a place where people who can't necessarily afford to go out and buy new clothes can go and buy clothes. Like, and I would just get really upset about it. It's like, you can't, I'm sorry, you shouldn't be charging $50 for a winter coat at a thrift store. I don't care how good it is. Like, you got it for free, and somebody who really needs it or just wants it, like, should be able to go in there and buy it. Anyways, my tangent about Abbotsford thrift stores, because the place that I'm talking about does charge $50 for a well-worn winter coat. And this is 2 blocks away from the home, not even 2 blocks away. This is on the same street, in the same block as the homeless camp. Like, we have a very big homeless problem in Abbotsford, and this is down the street. So if someone needs a winter coat, they can't go in and buy a winter coat because who has $50? Like, anyways. So there's that on top of fast fashion rant. Anyways, the point of my story is I did not go to that one. I went to the good one. And if you're wondering, it's Bibles for Missions is the good one in Abbotsford. Everything is priced reasonably. And I was really pleasantly surprised when I went in there. Because I feel like they take a lot of effort now to make sure things are of a really good quality, which is nice. So, you know, there wasn't things that are falling apart or stained or dirty or anything. It was all very lovely. I also have an issue with the thrift store because it does take quite a while to find things. I am bigger, and so the selection is quite a bit less. But I took Georgia with me, and she had fun putting the cart around. I think I had like probably 40 tops to try on. It sounds excessive, but like if it was something that I kind of liked the style of or the color of, and it looked like it might fit me, it went into the basket because you never know, right? So out of those, I got 6 new tops. I got a pair of boots. Georgia got a hoodie and a pair of shoes and the game Kerplunk and a big bag of Play-Doh stuff. And it was $32. Like, it was super cheap. And now I feel really great that I didn't contribute to fast fashion practices. I feel great because, I don't know, I got a good deal on this stuff. And I have, you know, I made a new rule when I go to the thrift store, which I kind of broke a little bit. But I used to go to the thrift store and like get things that needed something. You know what I mean? Like, oh, this would be really cute if I just did this. Or this would be really cute, you know, if I changed the neckline or did this. So I would buy things to be altered, but I would never alter them. So decided that's not happening anymore. Except for one of the tops is missing a button. So I'll have to put some new buttons on. And then one of them, it was really cute, like summer top, but the armholes are too wide. Like I have big hips and a big stomach, but I don't have enough up top to really like fit into the size that I need for the rest of my body. So it fit really nice on the bottom part. And the top, actually, it's just that because it's sleeveless too, it was just right at this point where it's like comes out really far. So I am going to alter that one and just take in that little extra fabric at the underneath the arms so that it fits properly. But I mean, aside from that, like how amazing is that? I'm very excited to have some things, and not even all of them are black. I got one black shirt, which is this one, this little black t-shirt. And what else did I get? A white one, a blue one, a purple one, and another black one, but that one has flowers on it. I feel like that is pretty impressive for me, that I didn't just buy all the black things or gray. So that was my rant/rave about thrift stores. Anyways, I really should be getting going because I have to go pick George up from school. Hopefully I'll be able to get this uploaded tonight. Thank you all so much for joining me. If you are a first-time viewer, I really wanted to say thank you for, thanks for coming and hanging out with me. And if you're a returning viewer, also thanks for coming and hanging out with me. I appreciate everyone who stops by and supports the channel. Make sure you give me a thumbs up if you liked it. And subscribe. If you want to know anything about any of the things that I talked about, I will have notes below linking to the designers and things. Also, I do keep extensive project notes. So, and all the information is in my Ravelry projects. So if you search for Knit, Pip and Pin on Ravelry, go to my projects, you'll be able to see everything there. There was other things about Ravelry that I kind of wanted to talk about, but I'll save that till next time. Okay, thanks so much again for coming to join me, and I will see you next time, hopefully soon. Bye.